bro. We got like demons and sorcery and like, and we're worried about politics. Like, everything is, the world is broken.
AoA, that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah, open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AoA, check me out. Look, clocked in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AoA show. I'm your host, as always, Ian, along with the boys Isaiah.
Oh, hi, all.
And Gavin.
What is Gucci shoes?
And today we are talking Jujutsu Kaisen episode 15. First group battle in the event here. And they're all out for blood, apparently. But a budding friendship is coming, and it's going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to the show. We're excited to hop into this discussion. Hopefully you guys are too. But if you enjoy the content today, make sure you guys are liking this video so that we know you enjoy it. If you're new here, subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes or videos. Make sure you guys are sharing with your friends, because the more the merrier, and commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think of our discussion? What did you think of this episode? Because it was an interesting one. And what are your thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole? Make sure you guys are hitting up our AoA Reacts channel. You're subscribing to that if you have not already, where we have our reaction video to this episode posted there right now. It is in the description. Our link is there, and also the pinned comment there if you want to go straight to the reaction. So anyway, hopping into this discussion. Is not Todo and Itadori like the greatest friendship ever? I don't know about you guys, but Todo has jumped up. Like characters like this in general in anime lately, I would say Todo's among them. And you and I started watching Haikyuu, and we had, what's his name? Tanaka, as someone who is obviously like worlds apart in terms of like what the premise of the show is about, but their character personality in a way is kind of similar, right? At least how I perceive it. They're a little bit pervy. They're a bro. They put in work. They're good at what it is that they do. You know what I'm saying? And like they just want in the final analysis though, they just want to be loved. You know what I'm saying? Like it really is that. This is the final analysis. All they want to do is actually be loved. Like they pump this big game. They're really good at what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's like they come off as super.
It sounds like you're writing
crazy.
like their dating profile,
dude. I'm
but
saying,
you're like trying to sell them, and you're like, all right, he's like a little bit pervy, but like he is a total bro. And at the end of the day, he just wants love.
He's
like what nigga doesn't want love?
Straight
like
man.
He's a bro, dude. I don't know. This interaction between these two is absolutely hysterical, and we get a little sneak peek into Todo's technique that he has, which is basically the Renegon ability that Sasuke has, where he just gets to blink people and they swap, which is, as we've seen in anime, i.e. Naruto before, is busted. That ability is really strong. So I'm curious to see how that plays a role, if he can do that with himself, if he has to do it with two other objects or people. Does it have to be people? Does it have to be, or can it be objects along with people?
Is there a limit to it?
Is there a limit, etc.? So I'm really curious to see that and why he is the most powerful. I mean, we got a glimpse of why he's the most powerful. I mean, the guy throws down, but like, really, you know what I mean? Because he was willing to take on everyone at the same time. So at this point, is he just toying with Itadori? It seems like he's kind of trying to teach him at this point, right? Because he says that your technique, if you ever want to beat me, is flawed. The fact that he's like that lag punch, so I'm curious to see what the deal is with that. But I don't know if you guys had any thoughts. Gavin looks like he's about to crack up over there for some reason. So I'm
in my head, and that ability that he has fits him kind of scarily, because I'm just picturing him following that idol chick that he's always after, and literally like looking at her from a distance and being able to swap her with someone next to him. So it's like you could just never escape this guy. If he wants you next to him, he will always achieve his desire. So that is something very scary, and I'm like cracking up thinking of all the instances that he's doing it. Like, walking down the street and he's like, "Ooh, who's that?" And it's like, whoop, I'll just like swaps him, and they're like, "Wait, what's going on?" And he's like, like I don't know. I'm writing a story. I'm literally in that flashback that he had when he's like creating a story with Itadori and going through like their best friend. I'm doing that right now with him using that ability, and it is amazing. And I'm going to make an animation and display it. So you better wait.
Any thoughts, Isaiah?
Yeah. So, well, all right. So here's my thing is they're all crazy as right? Like that's, that is it's something that like I forget sometimes, because like they'll be talking and doing stuff and like, crazy zany it'll happen. And I'm like, oh, right. They're all like kind of psychopaths, like low key. So as much like I obviously love AoE's character, but I'm like every time he says something in my head, I'm like, all right, how much of this should I be like writing down in a notebook, and how much should I be like, nigga, chill? But I do really like his, because this is his thing, right? Where he respects strength and he respects, if you've got like a definitive taste in women, or if it's just a good taste in women, whatever. So obviously him and Itadori are like two peas in a pod. But I love how exactly like one-sided it is, and how Itadori seemingly could not be bothered by this, and he's like, look, dude, can we just like fight or like whatever? I don't know what's going on. I'm not part of this like slice of life rom-com you got written in your head.
Which was fantastic.
It was because we kind of called it in the last discussion, I think, when that the second years, like their team, the principal was like, go kill Itadori, and they were all, except for the I think Miwa was her name, the blue-haired chick. Except for her, everybody was like, all right, yeah, cool. No questions asked. That's whatever. But except for Aoi, right? He's very like, nah, f all that. I'm like, he's cool. Like, we're going to fight. If he dies, because he's weak. And like, I'm not, he's not a part of all that stuff. So like all that stuff was cool. And I do like that I wonder how much of this like exchange event, or because I was saying it in the reaction, I'm getting very like forced to death tuning vibes from this. So I wonder how much of this is going to be centered around this whole like them fighting each other, because let's not forget there is like an actual objective for this thing. And like, I wonder if I'm assuming there's multiple stages. Like this isn't the only, part of the game or whatever. And I also wonder if they're going to get through the whole thing. Cause I kind of feel like at some point, Mahito and company and all them are like, might just like storm the party, like they're in the middle of a thing. And, again, like the tuning exams, like, it's just gonna explode. And yeah, like, all right, I gotta deal with this. But I did really. This episode was good.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool to see again Fuji's skills on display, and the boy that his dog is back, which is really not back. The one that lived is there again, so that's cool. And it was cool to see what he does for hand-to-hand combat with the with the kind of batons or whatever you'd call them, which is really interesting. So I don't know. Also, I wanted to give praise to the Panda, who seems to be just like a great team leader when needed. And I don't know if that's just attributed to his animal instinct, but like, damn, am I just curious to see what he's capable of. And this next episode that we got the preview, he's gonna be fighting Genos, the robot. So I'm really curious to see how he throws down. And I just love his interaction that he has with Toge as well, because Toge can barely speak, but because he has this animal intuition, like he just understands him on that deep level, just in general.
I also think that it's just like they've been homies for so long,
just been together,
that he doesn't have to speak for anymore to be like, I got you. I got you. Yeah. I'm excited to see Toge fight. I'm excited to see the Panda fight. I really hope that we haven't seen a lot of Maki fight yet. I really hope that Maki, I just want everybody to be like a good, competent fighter.
Sure.
Like I don't really need anybody getting shafted here, where it's like Itadori and Fuji and Toge are like kind of cool, and everybody else is like funny, but they're kind of just here for show.
Yeah.
Like I need Nobara to turn up. I need Maki to turn up. I want everybody to be like useful. I want everybody to contribute something and be like, oh, if any person or whatever split off, it's not like they're just instantly on their own.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm curious on how they're gonna orchestrate these fights, and I don't know. There's a part of me which kind of like it almost seems foreshadowed with this episode, where they're just gonna be bouncing back and forth between each individual fight. So I'm curious to how like nuancey that's gonna get, and it's like if these are long fights, are they just gonna be cut short? Is the next 2 episodes that are gonna come out just be literally bouncing between all these fights? And like how are you gonna keep us on our seat? Like, because if like watching a couple fights is cool, but if you're bouncing 3 or 4 of them, it can become a lot, especially if you're cutting it at certain points. And it's like, oh, 3/4 on the episode, now we're cutting back into this fight, or oh, we're gonna go fully through one, fully through the next one, fully, or they're just like, I'm curious on how they're gonna coordinate it, because I feel like it's not gonna be boring in any sense. But like, I don't know, dog, something about trying to trace 5 fights as they're all simultaneously going on is gonna be a little bit annoying in some way. So I am curious on how they are gonna like continue on with it, but I am in the camp with Isaiah that there is going to be an interjection of like Mojito and gang or someone of that nature who's going to like ultimately put a squash on it, and probably will get like Gojo out there who's like, what's going on here? And then, like a whole big like intervention type sequence, or something with the principal. I don't know. I'm curious if they don't kill Itadori, if he maybe confronts Gojo or stays like on his scheme and stuff. Like, I'm curious if he's going to play a role, because obviously Itadori's not going to die. I mean, again, if they do, I don't know what's happening, but like, with that whole relationship, I feel like something's got to spur, because we already know him and Gojo are kind of like water and oil in a sense, and they like it can be a little sketchy when they talk. So I'm curious on how all of that is going to really form, especially when more people are going to be introduced, like Mojito and gang. So going to be very interesting, curious, and we'll have to see what's going on. But I will pass it back over to you guys.
No, for sure. I also was slightly depressed finding out the whole. Not really depressed, but like find out the whole system of how this works with the kids that are in the school, and how they actually make a living off of this, and how a lot of this is recommendation based, and how, even though the one girl doesn't want to kill Itadori, she's kind of against this. She's like, I still need to win this game, right? Because this is how we get recommended. I have 2 younger brothers. I'm poor, like all this sort of thing. So that was interesting to see. And also that your primary teacher cannot be the one that recommends you. So Itadori is going to have to get the recommendation of someone else, which I feel like for future reference is telling, because I'm curious to know who else has the authority to recommend him. And if, who's going to do it, if he's going to be swaying more people to his side as we go, like not the principal, but like the assistant one, the dude with the glasses that he was, messing with earlier in the
Kento.
show.
That was my first thought,
I was thinking it was Kento at first, but I was wondering, I'm like, is that too easy?
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, is that just
I
like
feel like in a system like this, which is just politics, really, like it just. Like the principal, who clearly already has disdain for Yuji, is not going to take the word of anybody that is already on Yuji's side. It's going to take somebody that Itadori sways, who's initially who's on the principal side, right? Sense. So like, if the principal has like a right-hand man or person that's like all about his agenda, and then Itadori confronts them, and then they come back to the principal and they're like, yo, to be honest, bro, like Itadori's pretty chill. Like, we got to, or whatever. Cause like we see, Miwa, who by the way is slowly becoming like working her way up into my best girl chart. Didn't even know that was going to happen. I was kind of just really feeling like Maki and Nobara at first, but that like there's people in his camp or in his circle, I guess let's just call it, that aren't like just ready to like do anything or sure. Don't feel the same way he does. Yeah. So like again, through Itadori's his inspiration or just his character, I feel like that's what's good, because it would just be like kind of easy if it was like Kento, or I mean they make a point to say that like Gojo, for example, can't do it because he's his teacher, but if anybody who's like already on his side, has already worked with him, is chill about whatever, because then it's just kind of like a cop out. But I do share the sentiment that it's like when Miwa started going into the whole thing, I'm like really, even here, bro, we got like demons and sorcery and we're worried about politics, everything is the world is broken.
No, it was that was interesting, and I agree that I think Itadori's going to have to obviously have some sort of infectious aura that goes through the hearts and minds of everyone in attendance at the school. One by one, they're going to see. We even get a little clarification on that earlier, because Nobara was like, well, why would they want to kill him and all that kind of stuff? And they're like, well, you got to understand that you and Fuji have been with him from the rip, and we only even realized he was a good guy like the other day, so it's like they don't know. Like, to them, all they see is they need to exercise, a spirit. Yeah, they need to, destroy Sukuna's vessel. That's really all it is. So Itadori's going to have to go through one by one, for anyone willing to open their heart and accept him, and tell him why he is worth it, worth it to be alive, because that's what it's coming down to at this point. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't know. And all I need to know, though, is that we're going to get a spinoff now of the Todo Itadori Slice of Life anime, because like that was like, you ever watch a cutaway in Family Guy that just seems like it's like, dude, this is still going, like the really long ones that they have, like that's what it was like. Wow, this was going for like a solid couple minutes here, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it.
Well, between like the OP and the ED and like that, there's clearly like some like homage or will want, I don't know what to call it, that like somebody wants like a slice of life Jujutsu Kaisen like show. Somebody does, and it's somebody who like makes this thing, because there's like way too many shots and hints and references and jokes and stuff of them just chilling and doing normal things, and you're like, okay, who is this? Who wants it? Like, I'm about it too, but like, I just need you to be more vocal, like going forward.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, Gavin, any closing thoughts?
Dude, Itadori's a G.
He really
Although is. I don't know about that Jennifer Lawrence pick. However, he is hungry for those games.
He's out.
That's
there,
all
bro.
I needed to say.
He's got resolve, and his taste in women is steadfast and firm. So we're gonna
very specific.
And very specific. He has a type, and Toto's about it. You know,
that's true. I also found it weird that he was like at the end, Awie's like, oh, your style, like, you know, the way you use your technique or whatever with the divergent fist, how it has that delay. He's like, it's weak. You're never gonna beat me with that kind of resolve. And I'm like, is that? But that's like that's the thing. That's his actual ability, though. You know, like Itadori's not purposely like doing a thing where he like hits you and then consciously like withholds the power or the strike and then like lets it release. This isn't like some, you know, stop time, right? So it's like, I'm like, I get it if this is like his roundabout way of being like, oh, you just got to train and get stronger. But I'm like, it's like a weird angle of attack, I guess, for like you know, just talking about it, because I'm like, it's not like his choice, at least as far as I know.
Yeah. As far as I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I thought it was something under the guise that because he's not fully in control of said ability yet, it's delayed. And so, but before it was like, he just hit so hard anyway. It like I think Kento was highlighting it because he had already like whacked a cursed spirit or something with it, and just his raw punch alone, he's like, oh, that wasn't even like the thing yet, like it's delayed, and then he explains it. But I guess my point in all this, I could ramble, is that I think that's a thing because Itadori doesn't have full control over his cursed energy yet. I don't think that's as you were saying, I don't think it's intentional that he does that, and I don't think that necessarily. And I guess, I mean, given the context clues of this, at least according to Toto, that is not going to be a good long-term strategy, I guess. I don't know why. I guess it's just that he needs to immediately connect with it, because let's be honest, a cursed energy punch is clearly going to be stronger than his normal punch at 100% of the time. So like maybe the quicker he gets to that, you know what I mean? Or maybe down the line he'll be able to utilize that when he needs to not use cursed energy. I don't know, but apparently Toto doesn't buy it.
Yeah, I know. That's weird to me, because it's like, oh, that technique you use that like has a specific ability of hitting somebody, but then having a delayed second hit that like they can't detect, I feel like would give you a tactical advantage in a fight, where it's like, no, you need to make it so that when you hit them, you just hit them, and it's like, well, isn't that actually a downgrade?
Well, I guess it's if you're trying, okay, fair enough. If you're trying to create the ploy that curse energy is not within the punch to throw them off within that second or millisecond, but I think in most scenarios when he's fighting a cursed spirit who most of them can't even talk correctly, or like some of the upper dudes, they already know, like there is no secret that he has cursed energy, so there's really no element of surprise or benefit that he gets from that.
Well, it's not that not that they don't know it's like he's using cursed energy, but like the technique specifically implies that like when he hits them with the first punch using the cursed energy punch, like that's one hit, and then there's a literal like a delayed hit that like the enemy can't detect. What I'm saying is that, in my mind, would give him a tactical advantage, because you know what I mean. He hits the enemy and they're like, oh, blocked it, but then there's another hit that they can't account for.
Gotcha.
They don't see it. But if the upgraded version of it is that goes away or that gap closes, I would actually see that at least like as a downgrade, because it would make it less useful of a technique in that sense. Like it would just essentially become a regular punch at that point.
In that sense, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
A weird part of me feels like that's not his like ability. I think it is just his. Yeah, I don't think like that's the stipulation. I feel like we need to rewatch it and get more on it, because I don't know, that doesn't sound right to me when they explained it. But like, I'm not going to try to pull something out of my butt saying.
See, and
that's the thing. Like, I don't think that's actually. I think there's stipulations more for that he doesn't have it executed properly, but I don't think it's like. I think the first punch is like a normal one, and then it's like the energy is then like actually kicking in and going. I don't think it's a matter of like a punch and then like a secret punch going behind. I think it's just a delayed effect that's like scaled with power. I think that's
yeah, which
more
could
of
be
it.
good because it's like he's punching him 1.5 times, if that makes sense, right? Because if a full punch would be a punch with curse energy, and then his normal punch would be like a half punch, you know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. I don't know if it's something like that to kind of like double the effects or times.
I don't
the
even think
effects.
that's the case. It
But
doesn't even
I don't.
sound
A,
right.
I don't know if that's it. And
Well, now I'm
B,
just
maybe Toto's like, maybe he's gonna explain that it's like you'll never beat me with something like that. You know what I mean? Like that ability, because Todo has like some sort of direct counter to it where it's like, okay, he knows that it's coming or something, so he has a split second to react after he got punched. So it's like he has more reaction time, you know, because even if he doesn't slip the punch and gets hit, if he had just a curse energy punch right off the rip and he gets hit, he got hit, right, with a curse energy punch, where it's like maybe if he gets hit with the real fist, if he didn't slip it, he still has that split second to like harden his body or use his sort of curse energy to deflect the curse punch that's coming in. I don't know. We're going to have to see. We could run some
What if
antics all
Toto's
day.
just crazy?
Yeah.
Just give him a gun.
And made all of it
Make
up.
it easy.
Yeah, right. I think his fists
He's
are
like,
stronger than
just
guns. Yeah. But
Right.
anyway, all right, folks, that is our discussion today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know we sure did. Again, make sure you guys are checking out our AoA Reacts channel. Link is in the description so you can watch our Jujutsu Kaisen episode 15 live reaction because it was a lot of fun. And also make sure you guys are subscribing to this channel, obviously, if you were new here, liking the video, sharing with your friends, commenting your thoughts. What did you think of our discussion? What did you think about the budding friendship between Todo and Itadori and everything else that happened in this episode? And who else is with me in getting a slice of life Jujutsu Kaisen anime? I need to know all those thoughts in the comments down below. Let's try and pose some sort of question if they made it to the end of this video. Right? I know you were running this idea where it was like,
yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
On the spot here.
what is Itadori's taste in women?
Oh, okay.
So if you made it to the end of this video, comment Itadori's taste in women, and then comment something else, and maybe, just maybe, we'll read your comment next episode that we do.
Harder questions next time.
Yeah,
Just a little
yeah.
on the spot.
yeah. But at least I'll know you made it to the end of it. Because if it just goes tall with big ass, and then their comment, like who would do that? You know what I mean? So then I'll know that you watched to the end of this video, and I might just read your comment the next video that we have. Anyway, huge shout out to our patrons. Thank you very much, specifically to Stoic and Nathan for being the acolytes of anime that I know you were always destined to be. Huge support. Thank you. And to all of our patrons, seriously, it goes a long way. And also make sure you guys are hitting up that AoA merch shop. The link is in the description down below so you guys can get 20% off of your order. Every single item in the store right now is 20% off. That's right, 20% off. Just type in the code AOA 2021. That's AOA 2021 at checkout to get that, and that's going to run until the end of January. You got about a week left, so y'all better get on it if you want to get some AoA swag. Take a picture, by the way, if you're comfortable, post it in our Discord. It's really cool to see some of the people repping our stuff. I know the other day you said your friend's mother or something got an AoA mug, got like a purple one.
Purple mug.
Yeah,
It's
purple mug
amazing.
and stuff
Actually
like that.
dope.
It's really cool. So it's heartwarming and cool to see that. And plus, any feedback is appreciated. So let us know. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you on the flip. Peace.
Peace.
Ninjas are samurais, blazing the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly.